What if I told you that the only reason Lionel Messi is still alive is because of one big miracle? Over the years, Messi has been hiding stuff from his biggest fans, but now it's all out in the open. I just had to make a list of the 7 things Messi has been hiding from you. And first up, he shouldn't even be alive. Messi's the GOAT now, but all of that could have never happened. Back when he was a kid, Messi was in the streets of Argentina, training with his local team, Newell's Old Boys, every day. And he became so good that he started attracting attention from some of the big clubs in Europe. They'd heard about Messi and all wanted to see him play. And the first thing that caught their eye was how small he was. Compared to his mates, Messi was small. I'm talking under 5 foot, man. At first, his parents and teammates thought he was just a late bloomer and would grow with time, but later on, it became clear that something was wrong. Messi wasn't growing. If anything, he remained the same. And that's when his parents decided to take him to the hospital to run tests. And the news they got changed their lives. The doctors ran several tests on Messi, and that's when they realized that Messi had growth hormone disease. What this meant was that he couldn't grow because his bones won't let him to. See, the news was a mixture of good and bad, because on the plus side, the doctors told Messi and his parents that the disease could be treated and cured. But on the other hand, the cost of getting the injections needed to treat Messi was freaking expensive. As a result, Messi's parents took the news to the clubs that had shown interest in him, but one by one they all bailed. And it was just down to Messi and his parents. The news shattered them, especially Messi, because at this point, his dream of becoming a pro was almost over, until one club came along and saved his life: Barcelona. They'd been watching Messi play just like the other clubs had, and once they heard about Messi's unfortunate situation, they decided to use it to their advantage by offering Messi and his parents a deal. They promised to take care of Messi's hormone problem if in return he'd agree to come play for Barca, and Messi said yes. Just like that, he was off to Spain. They started giving him injections, treated his hormone disease, and 19 years later, he's now the greatest of all time. I can understand why Messi won't want a lot of people finding out about this one, because he knows his career so far is one big journey he's got to give thanks for. And that's why every time he scores, he kisses the sky. Oh wait, that's not it. The reason Messi kisses the sky is because of another secret he's been hiding from you: his grandma. And here's how. Growing up, Messi didn't even know which sport he wanted to play until his grandma Cecilia stepped in. Back then, Messi had 2 older brothers who wanted to go pro and trained with a local team, but because of how small Messi was, they never carried him along. Until Grandma Cecilia decided that it was time for Messi to start training just like his brothers too. So she convinced his parents to get him a pair of boots, got him balls, and boom, Messi was into football. Still, it wasn't easy because again, due to Messi's size, the coaches didn't even want to play him. This one time, the local team was having a huge game and everyone came to watch, including Grandma Cecilia. And once again, Messi was on the bench. His grandma was fed up with seeing her kid being left out every time. So she went down and in front of everyone told the coach to sub Messi in. Now the team was losing the match, and having an old woman yell at you like that would probably make you piss your pants with fear, so I can understand why he decided to sub Messi in afterward. And I bet he must have been thanking Grandma Cecilia right after too, because as soon as Messi came in, he changed the game. His team ended up winning the game, Messi was man of the match, and the coach never benched him right after. Messi became so good that he earned himself a move to the Newell's Old Boys senior team right after, and was probably planning on doing something big for his grandma to say thank you to her for the support when one day he came back from training and heard the shocking news. Grandma Cecilia was gone. At first, Messi didn't understand it. He thought she just went out for some grocery shopping or to go see some of his relatives across town, but it was his biggest fear confirmed. Grandma Cecilia was dead. This news broke Messi, man, and for days he couldn't get it together. In the end, Messi realized that the only way he'd be able to make his grandma happy from up high was if he continued playing the game she'd fought for him to be a part of all those years back. And right there, he made a promise to himself and his grandma that anytime he scores a goal, he'd kiss the sky and dedicate it to her. And it's safe to say, more than 700 career goals later, Messi's been keeping his promise. Damn, I wish I was that close to my grandma. The only thing I've done to her is chase her cat and ask for $20. With his grandma gone, the next woman Messi became close to was his wife, Antonella Rocuzzo. She and Messi have shared some special moments over the years, and while it's beautiful and all, here's where it gets interesting. Antonella isn't the woman Messi was supposed to end up with. All through his life, Messi made it seem like he's only ever got eyes for a woman. But deep down, Messi hooking up with Antonella was a mistake. See, Messi and Antonella go back, I mean way back. They first met when Messi went to his buddy's house Luca Scaglia to get him ready for training. And this one time, Messi was at the door as usual, but the person that opened the door blew his mind. It was Antonella. Even though they were still young then, Messi was already attracted to her, and because of that, he kept heading over to Lucas's house every day. They became so close that Messi even got invited over to to their beach house on holiday, meaning he and Antonella's relationship grew. But after Messi's growth hormone incident, it meant their relationship was about to take a different dimension. Messi had found the treatment, all thanks to Barca, but this in turn meant he had to leave Argentina and head over to Spain to start a new life, leaving Antonella behind. Before his flight took off, Messi made Antonella a promise that he was going to come back to marry her. But after the first few weeks in Spain, it was hard to keep the communication going, and Messi was willing to try until he got the news that broke his heart. Antonella had gotten a new boyfriend back in Argentina. Because of the distance and lack of communication, they fell off. And with Messi now confirming that Antonella had a new man, he decided to get a new woman to fill the void Antonella had left. And this new woman was someone he knew very well, Macarena Lemos. In 2006, there were several rumors of Messi and Macarena dating, and these rumors only got even bigger in the weeks that followed. It kinda seemed like Messi and Macarena were ready to go steady until one day, Messi got a phone call, and once again his relationship life was on the edge. Antonella had gotten involved in an accident, and even worse, her best friend who was driving had died on the spot. Once Messi heard the news, he didn't even have the time to pack a suitcase. He hopped on the next flight down to Argentina and drove straight down to meet her. Once they met in the hospital, it was like all those years back, and this time Messi knew he just couldn't go back without her, because he'd made a promise all those years back to take care of her and come back. So right there, Messi asked Antonella to make the biggest decision of her young life. Antonella, will you subscribe to Mr. Football for me? She said yes and broke up with her boyfriend right after. Ever since Messi and Antonella have been going solid, 3 kids, a wedding and multiple trophies, they've been enjoying life. Crazy how a large part of Messi's early life was full of stuff he'd been hiding from the public. First Antonella and his secret relationship with Macarena Lamas, and now his secret addiction that almost cost him his career. At the time, Messi was just a skinny looking kid with amazing talent. I mean, sure, he could dribble and all, but was more talented than I've ever seen. But there was something going on that Messi had been hiding from the world. He was struggling and he couldn't cope with anymore. Junk food. Unlike you and me, who'd most likely go for a burger or two and call it a day, Messi was taking soda, burgers and fries, and all of that sugary stuff every day. At first, because of his talent, he was able to hide it and play his way through games. But pretty soon it began to take a toll on his body, and it became so bad that he started throwing up before games, and was even reported to be feeling funny during halftime games from all that running. Messi knew if he didn't stop, it was going to get even worse, but he just couldn't say no, probably because he hadn't realized how bad it was getting until the doctors at Barcelona got involved. Leo, if you don't quit, your career is going to be over. Boom! Just like that, it did the trick. Messi was now focused on getting his health on track, and he knew he won't be able to do it on his own. Lucky for him, everyone in the club was ready to help, and first thing that coach Pep Guardiola did was take off the vending machine at the club arena, so Messi had limited access to soda. Seemed to work too, because once Messi started eating raw fish and vegetables instead of burgers, he became a beast on the field and started dropping bangers. Messi's game went up another level, and if I'm honest, while part of it had to do with him changing his diet, another part had to do with Messi hitting his secret training arena no one knew about to practice his skills. Messi loves video games. The man's an addict. See, Messi figured out early on that playing video games has a positive effect on his brain because it helps him sharpen up for real-life situations in matches. And because of that, Messi spends hours in front of that console before big matches. Yo, my mum's gotta see this. I knew all those hours playing video games aren't for nothing. Messi will kick it with anyone with a controller, from his kids to even his teammates. And from the looks of it, he's really good. Imagine going up against Messi on FUT comps one day and not even knowing it was him. In all his opponents, I'm pretty sure there's one person he hates facing the most, and that's his son Mateo. Sometimes when we play PlayStation, he says he wants to use Liverpool and I'll be Barcelona because they beat me. He does the same thing for Valencia. Damn, Leo's son is a troll. These days, Messi and his son are kicking it in the MLS and making big bank too. And I'd bet you didn't know there's a secret behind this. Messi had everyone fooled into thinking he went to the MLS because he wanted to change the game and try a new experience. But deep down, it's because of one big secret: a huge paycheck. See, Messi's deal to join Inter Miami in the MLS has so many cut deals behind it that are designed to make Messi rich. After leaving PSG last summer, Messi was in the middle of a transfer saga. PSG wanted him to sign with them and renew his contract, but he said no because his heart was in 2 places. The only reason Messi even joined PSG in the first place was because he had to leave Barca after an economic meltdown. But now Barca had found a way around it and wanted Messi to come home. For months it looked like Messi was going to make a sensational return back to Barca, but in the end, he signed for these guys, Inter Miami. And where the heck did they come from? Turns out they'd been there all along, and no one knew. See, Inter Miami's co-owner and CEO, David Beckham, had been planning a deal to bring Messi to the club for years. And once he realized Messi wasn't going to renew with PSG, he and his team swooped in and made Messi and his dad a deal he knew they won't be able to resist. Now Messi's salary like $20 million per season sounds kinda basic when compared to high earners in other leagues, but behind it are some jaw-dropping deals. Messi's contract with Inter Miami also has him receiving a share of Apple TV's revenue from games, meaning for every time his Inter Miami team plays, Messi gets a cut. And it didn't just stop there. Messi's also got a share of the MLS revenue from Adidas. And in his deal, he's got a clause in it that allows him to own his own MLS team in the future for a very low fee when he wants to, just like David Beckham did all those years back. Looking at it now, there was no way Messi could say no. I'd bet that it's even because of the deal that Messi's been learning a secret language. Dude speaks English now, what the hell? While this happened to be an edit, turns out Messi's been taking lessons in English, with his tutor being his wife, Antonella. Apparently Antonella can speak English and she's good at it, so she's helping Messi learn, but that doesn't mean Messi doesn't know a thing or two about the language. Just ask his Inter Miami teammate Robert Taylor. I'm taking Spanish lessons and he's taking English lessons. I've heard him say a couple of things in English to me and a couple of players around him, so I think he speaks pretty good English. Damn, imagine Messi in an English accent one day. Amazing. Wonder if he speaks fluent Italian too, because, well, if things had turned out differently, he could have been playing for them. Just like Messi, there's a list of footballers who betrayed their country and chose other nations instead. And don't worry, I got you covered. Just click the next video to find out.